Mike?
Hey, Nicky Nick. Yeah, what's going on, buddy?
What's on tonight?
This week we got Wes Carter.
Oh, we have Wes on tonight. He was in the military, right?
Yeah, I knew he was in the military. Did you know that he's like, I don't know, he's got like a higher education he's working on? I think it's got something to do with like, I don't know, ancient civilizations and how they use water or something along those lines. But yeah, Wes he's a pretty interesting dude.
Oh no, I didn't know that. I wonder what it would be like back then.
All right. Hi, everybody. Monitor Brains podcast number 23.
It's 22. I had to think about it, Uncle Mike. I was like, crap, I don't remember which one it is.
Did I ever get it right yet, Nick?
You got it right once.
I got it right once.
Completely off guard.
So once out of 23 times ain't bad. All right.
You're close. I got to give you that.
Close. So we're really excited for this one. We got a guy I've known for, quite a while on the internet and stuff. I've never met him in person like most people, but he does some really cool stuff. He was like kind of competition with me and you when we were doing the sulfurs. And I don't think he's doing sulfurs anymore, but we'll get into that when we talk to him. So
we say competition, but we never look at it that way.
Yeah, no.
We in wheelhouse.
Yeah, there you go. I'm whatever.
I know what you meant, Uncle Mike.
Right. Yeah, but thank you for correcting me and making me not look like a chooch. I need that in my life. Got any news? Monitor Brain news?
We got this guy that keeps hatching these Mertens for years and years and years. And he's been hatching a lot of them lately. And it's you, Uncle Mike.
Oh. Yeah. Thanks, Nick.
You've had him hatching over what, the last 3 weeks? Something like that?
Man, it's been so 4 weeks ago. I think I got a clutch of 9. These are F2s as well. So I had a clutch hatch about 2 months ago, and those came out over the course of like 2 or 3 days, right? There was like 6 of them, whatever. I can't remember. These are F2s. And so those all hatched, and I got them in my raise up enclosure. Then the second female of my trio, my 1.2 trio, she laid, they always laying within a week of each other, right?
Crazy.
So the second girl laid her second clutch, and the first egg pipped, man, Nick, what was it, about a month ago?
It feels like a month ago. I'm not sure. I'm terrible with time.
Yeah, me too. But so it was like about a month ago. And like, so that one pipped. The next day it actually came out. All its egg yolk was gone. It was big, fat, full belly. And I put them in with the others. And then 3 weeks go by, nothing. No. This was a really strange clutch because there was no collapsing of the eggs. Normally, I kind of, we all use that as an indicator, right?
Yep.
You're a week away from when they start collapsing, whatever. No collapsing. So far, none of them had collapsed. And then, like I said, 3 weeks after the first one pipped and came out, one more pipped, and then when I was looking at it, I noticed another one had pipped, so 2 pipped. And the next day, those 2 were out. And then just this past what is today's Thursday? So yeah, earlier in this week, another one had pipped and came out. And yeah, so there's still like 3 or 4 more that are not collapsed. And I'm just waiting for them to pip and show their heads, and then there you go. So, but yeah, I appreciate that, Nick. Yeah, I put a lot of time in with my Mertens, and I've produced an awful lot of them. But unfortunately, I gotta say, hold on a second. That I just sold my F1 1.2 trio. So when these, I don't know, I think I'll wind, by the time these all hatch out, I think I'll have 24 F2s. And then after, whether I decide to hold on to a few and maybe breed them again, they take like 3 years to mature. So it's a long while. Yep. But I think I'm kind of done with them. I'm trying to make my life a little easier. And that enclosure, anybody who knows my Mertens enclosure, that's a lot of maintenance. And
you've done more than anybody with them, Uncle Mike. And I mean, you definitely paid your dues with them and got them out there. And it's up to somebody else, Brad, to pick it up from here. And Brad is doing it. So good for Brad. Again, since we're talking about Brad Gierke, he's in the middle of a move. He had a second child who's, I don't know, I think he's a teenager now. No, I'm only joking. Yeah. But he had a second kid pretty rapid fire, and they need to move to a bigger house. So they're in the middle of a move. Yeah. So once he does get the move done, then you can expect to see Bioactive Brains featuring Brad Gierke on this channel. So we're making moves here. Yeah. But I got a bit of news. I got a bit of big news. It's big to me, and I know it's big to you, Nick. So Nicky Nick, I don't know, it was a couple of years ago, right? Yep. You kept telling me, oh, these spinnies. And, and I adore them. I think they're awesome. Just, I don't know why it is. Just you kind of go, you know what I mean? I mean, I've never kept Ruticolis either, but you're really gaga for these spinulosus. You love them. Yep. And, you've had some tribulations breeding them. You've had some challenges. And, I always tell you, Nick, you just keep doing what you do. You're going to get it. And sure as this week, you got your clutch of 5. 5, yep. 5, and I think I'm hoping that the majority is good. I have 2 with the Circle of Life in them so far, but we're only 4 days in. And, man, I was over the moon. I was holding my breath for those 4 days because I was so nervous. This is my 4th clutch. After seeing them breed over 2 years, so it's my first real shot at having them. And I don't think I'm letting any go, to be honest. Especially with the Solomons being closed, I think I'm going to hang on to whatever happens. Well, I congratulate you. It's a big deal, Nick, and you did it. And I could be more proud of you for sticking with it and staying the course. And good for you. And I'm sure there's going to be trying to figure out who's done it, when's done it. I know I'm not the first, obviously, but I think I'm like the first in like 20 years, something like that, maybe 10 years. It's somewhere in that ballpark. Crutchfield said today that somebody produced them 20 years ago, Bob O. And I think there was Fort Worth, but I'm not sure. Yeah, and again, so hey, I'm an old dog. I didn't make the standard, but I abide. What's the word? I abide. I abide by it. Yep. And it's like, look, back in the day, many people said they bred many things, and it always, and this wasn't my standard. This was another guy back in the day standard who was like, if you don't have photos of them locked up. Probably the best thing that guy ever said. Yeah. So and the funny thing is, like,
a lot of times he made claims and he couldn't produce these photos that he demands of other people. So, hey, that's then, this is now, so you got to have, copulation. You got to have photographic copulation, photographic nesting, photographic evidence of eggs in your Sims, right? Because Sims is the best. Shout out for John Dragna there. And then, of course, pipping and hatching in a Sims, which proves that you've captive bred them. You got that. And my point to all that.
It's never a race. I never feel like I'm in a competition with anybody. I don't want cool. It's really cool to be a first, a world's first, something like that. But that's not my goal when I pick a species to work with. It's just an added bonus, and to know where you stand in it. And I mean, Spinnies, nobody's really even working with them like that. There's a handful of people, so
right,
like Cole and John and people like that. But they're all close friends. So, and I'm sure they'll be right behind me.
It's a win for you, Nick, but it is a win for our beloved Veranids, especially Spinulosus. So my point to that whole photographic evidence thing is, people can make claims all day long. We need to, and again, it's not my standard. It was set a long time ago. If you have that kind of proof, you get bragging rights. You can say something or whatever. However, I don't know who Bobo is.
I think I'm almost positive that's the guy I was telling you about, Uncle Mike, with the farm by me.
Okay.
I went to his facility and didn't know that it was Crutchfield's friend.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I gotcha. But again, so outside of a zoological institution in the private sector, you're one of a very few people that have done it, Nick. You're current today. So my congratulations and my hats off to you, nephew. Man, I couldn't be more happy and proud of you.
Real, but thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
But without further ado, Uncle Mike, we always do this, but it's hard to, especially when we didn't really talk today, to jump on here and start going off. But without further ado, I want to get our guest on. And this is a guy who's very prevalent in the community, and he works with a lot of species that I like. And I believe it's a world's first that he just hatched recently with the Albino Guru. But without further ado, let's get him on here and let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? So if you guys have been watching the podcast or anything Uncle Mike and I have been doing, I probably don't even need to say what I'm about to say. But let's be honest. Life gets busy. Life gets crazy. And sometimes you just need a helpful reminder. And today, I'm here to be that helpful reminder. Get to USARK.org and get those annual subscriptions, or get to your local show and donate an animal or donate goods, anything you can to try to help. Again, anything helps. $5, whatever you can do, helps us. These legislators are trying to come for us when we're not paying attention and pass these laws, slip them in other bills, and really trying to catch us off guard so we can't keep these animals and we can't sit here and have a podcast about how to keep them. So don't let them do that to us, guys. We all are here for the same reason. If it's a ball python, if it's a monitor lizard, we all love reptiles. So let's keep it together, stay a community, and get behind USARK, someone that has our backs. Let's have theirs. What's going on, guys? Whether you're a first-time shipper or a veteran to the industry, Reptiles to You has you covered. Reptiles to You has everything you need to ship your reptiles and invertebrates safely. From top-notch supplies to an industry-leading live customer service team, Reptiles to You is a one-stop shop that we've used and trusted for years. They've got options on their website for single-purchase shipping kits or bulk options for all the best supplies to use if you're a breeder that ships out larger volumes at a time, or just a box here and there. And of course, you can create your own shipping labels on their website at the lowest rates in company history. Part of providing the best for our animals is also ensuring that they travel safely to their new homes. And there's no team better than that, than the people at Reptiles to You. So guys, if you're looking to partner with the best in the industry, it's an easy choice. I did it a long time ago and I never looked back. Follow the link in the description and join the Reptiles to You family today. Talk about it.
Wes Carter.
What's going on,
Hey,
Wes?
how you guys doing?
There he is. Wes Carter.
The man.
Congratulations on both your guys' clutches. The
Thank you.
And the
And
awesome.
congratulations to you on your, I would imagine it's got to be a world's first, the Guru Albino.
Yes, sir. The two negative Guru Albino.
That's
awesome.
That was
awesome.
That was pretty cool. I didn't.
So, Wes, I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to get this out because I go stunad sometimes and I won't remember.
Yes, sir.
So, this is And I don't even know what guru. What species is guru?
So everything that I know, I got all my stock from Steven Brazil, which got it from Jim Heck.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly where the locale or what guru is as
Right.
far as like they do. I just didn't pay attention. I looked at it, saw the pattern, saw the striping on the back, and just kind of thought it'd be really cool. Kind of similar to the sulfur stuff, where you
Yeah,
get a
right.
nice job and banded. But unfortunately, these ones they're just stripes. The osceola only connect next to each other, not across. So
Right.
I believe I could be wrong, and John would be the guy to correct me. I believe the original gurus were macros because they
Okay.
all get to that massive, massive size. But the issue with guru is it's dominant, so it takes over that patterning. So they could really be at this point, and I know somewhere across they could be Javan, they could be Biv, they could be macro, they could be really anything because that pattern kind of cancels everything out, from my understanding.
Well, again, congratulations, and
Thanks.
yeah, they're beautiful animals. The gurus themselves are just something special, absolutely. And now
And
you got albinism into that, and it
Yep.
sounds to me, I guess what I'm getting at, I'm a kind of purist guy. Laugh at me, call me a dick, whatever.
No, it's all good. We all have our
No,
stuff.
I'm not saying you specifically. I'm talking to the other brainiacs that watch the show. That's just how I am. So that's why I was questioning what actual species they are. At any rate, it's a really cool thing. Now, I don't know nothing about albinism and genetic anomalies. So my question is not my question. My comment is this, and maybe you know too, Nick. I'm really wondering. Like I see all these T negatives, T positives, and caramels. However, and I might be totally wrong on this, and I probably am, so forgive me, but it seems like when they're young, right? When they're in a juvenile, they have a really nice pattern. You can see it. And then they get big and they kind of all whitewash, or do they not?
I wouldn't say they do necessarily. Your teen eggs can get a little cleaner. They're just hard to keep clean, honestly. So you don't
Absolutely.
see
True.
them highlighted like that a lot. The corals and T positive as babies are real similar. Corals will start getting this like like really bright orange and like nice pink hues.
Yep.
And they keep that color. Like my big male Maui's 8'2". He still has all that color. You can see his pattern, like beautiful animal. And that's why I like the corals the most, because they keep that color.
Right.
And so you get that into adulthood instead of like some washing out sometimes you'll get just from the pure size of these animals.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Maui was a Shane Costello animal, correct?
Yes, sir. I took a lot of Shane's line, and I'm just trying to bring it to the next level, and I always tell people like these animals come from Shane. This is his line. This is what he's doing. I'm just trying to add a notch to it, keep it nice.
I'm so curious with the guru, Wes, because I don't know if yours, but like all the gurus that I have, they have like that yellow hue that doesn't really get picked up in pictures. Like their whole body has like a yellow hue. And I'm curious to see if what happens with the albino. Does it amplify? Like, does it carry that through?
So on the actual albino animal or the head albino?
The actual albino animal.
So the albino animal, it is like where you would get banding on the face that wouldn't be super white with a teen egg, it pops.
Wow.
There's times where this animal looks like its face is just so white, and you can clearly see like where the banding would be.
Cool.
The armpits, like with the guru, are always like real highlighted, and then you'll have on the sides like the flames that go up.
Yeah.
But everything is like elevated for sure.
Wow. I was hoping you would say that it transferred even better through.
Well, you know what I think a problem that I'm describing is if you don't see them the camera can only do so much, right? when you lay your own eyes on it, you get to see this stuff. And I've never seen any in person. Adults, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about babies. I'm talking about adults. Mm-hmm. So, that's fantastic.
Yeah, they're so cool. Wes, another question too with them. We kind of like just dove into these gurus where I wanted to ask you personal questions and stuff first, but we got too excited. But with the gurus, are yours like pretty small? Because like I'm sure you've seen those pictures from Jim where he's got it in his Mercedes and it's like out the window. Have you ever seen that picture?
I haven't seen that, but he showed me a male recently that was over 6 foot. That was beautiful. And
that was the same as this one. It had to be like 8 feet, this animal. And mine was never huge that size. They're not even close.
Yeah, I think like Maui's that big just because he's old, right? This is something I want to bring up later on also. Like you don't see a lot of people with big animals.
It's true.
And it's like, well, like what's going on? Like, is this a feeding thing? Is that, how we're taking care of these animals? Because there's very few people just have a monster lizard.
Yeah.
Right.
And that just goes with like, I have 3 generations at my house of Shane's line.
Wow.
Stuff he's produced, stuff I've produced. And like, that's something I take pride in for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And, but yeah, you don't see a lot of these big animals, and it's, in a sense, it's almost worrisome. Like, why are we not seeing these adults?
Wes, let me cut you off right here. So,
yes, sir.
You and I and Nicky Nick, we were all in the Java sulfur. So like I produced, like you and Nick, we produced lots and lots, right? And I try to keep track of where my animals go. I mean, people fall off or whatever, but for the amount of sulfurs, the Java banded sulfurs that I've produced, man, I see like maybe 3, and they're not even full grown adults yet. So that's kind of where I had a moral dilemma with them. It's like, we're putting in all this time, we're producing some really awesome animals, and we put them out into the world. And like you just said, where are they? What has happened? So that's what pretty much killed the sulfurs for me. It's like, man, I just couldn't see to keep doing that. And then where are they? What happens to them? But yeah, I do understand what you're saying. And, husbandry might have something to do with it. But, I mean, you're talking about, our animals, they live a very long time. And I don't know if people are they actually, even the people that are monitor people, I don't know if they realize, in 10, 12 years, you're still going to have this beast of an animal.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, maybe they sell them off or whatever, but it is disheartening a little bit, ain't it, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, it bums me out.
I wonder if it's like, I always think it's just the monitors because of how big they are. They're the biggest lizard, really, that we can work with. But I think it's kind of across the board with retics and all that stuff, too. How many retics are produced? How many berms are produced? And, like, how many are really out there at that adult size? I think it's like, and in the wild, too, it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of, unfortunately, people kind of balance it out in this situation, but I think it kind of balances itself out amongst just animals in general. I think about it all the time. That's why I got out of Black Dragons. I was just like, where are all these animals going? But towards the end, the more I kept up with people, the more time I was putting in to follow customers, the more I was seeing bigger animals. So you wonder too, is like, do you really keep up with all your customers?
Right.
Yeah, I have a few that their sulfurs are doing pretty good.
Yeah.
But like Uncle Mike said, right? Some just fall off. Like people come in full force, ready to breed, and then 3 months later they're gone and stuff's on sale again.
And then you have people like even me. Like I have my Black Dragon who's 7 foot, and like the person that produced him has no idea that I have it. It's a nerd line animal, but they don't know I produced it. I've never contacted them and like, hey, I got this. So like some people just don't reach out, including myself.
Very true.
Right. Well, with monitor lizards, man, people got to realize, I mean, it happened to me too. And, I see it happen all the time. Like, I was younger, right? I got into everything. And then over the years, I've had, 9 children. So, football, cheerleading, parent teacher meetings, you know what I mean? Life comes in, and maybe you can't do it at this same level. You do it to a point, but to do it at this level, I think that's why it works for me. My kids are all grown and gone. I'm like in the twilight years of my life, and I really don't have much to do. I don't get up and go to work anymore. So, I see people, they want to be breeders, and, there's nothing wrong with keeping these animals and not being a breeder. It's like, it's something weird about the monitor game, the monitor thing that we're in. Everybody wants to breed, and that's great, but it's not as easy as saying I want to be a breeder. Okay, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Incubating eggs for 7 months. That's a big chunk. That's one clutch of eggs, 7 months. That's almost a year of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. So that's
for sure.
So I wanted to ask you, Wes, because I know you are Sunshine State Sulphurs. Are you still working with Sulphurs?
I have Sulphurs, but I'm probably not going to make a comeback with them. I don't think.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to, with how the market is with these animals and how big they get and how much money it costs to take care of them and give them these big, cages outside. I'm going to be slimming down more of my animals just to focus on my family more.
Yeah.
And just spend time with them, because the industry is harsh. The prices fluctuate for little to no reason.
Yeah.
And it's not worth producing these animals for pennies on the dollar.
Nope.
Nope. I mean, I have girls that are outside right now that I will let them never breed again if that's the choice, or at least never incubate eggs. Right. Always give them a cycle. If they're still on that, I don't want to mess it up and have anything bad happen. But yeah, it's just it's like day by day, just kind of get over it a little bit,
Definitely.
And
it's overwhelming to stay on that race, and it's true. The market is just kind of a mess, to be honest. And there's so many people doing it and affecting prices, and it's like Uncle Mike always says, the rat race to the bottom. And it's like you get tired of chasing that. So,
I don't want to battle. I would rather get out of said species than to keep racing to the bottom of the pricing. These animals deserve more than,
Absolutely.
So here's the thing I always say, Wes and Nick, is like, so my coming eye, okay, to this day, I'm not working with coming eye anymore, but I have one left out of my last clutch, and I have another clutch that's due to hatch. And those, unless somebody buys a lot off of me, those will be sold for $2,000 each. And the reason is because when you start going from 2,000, say you go all the way to 1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to understand, when your prices are $2,000, you've already shortened your market. But the quality of keeper at $2,000 is way more than when you put them at 1,000. I'm not saying 1,000's nothing. 1,000 is, it's good money, especially in this, in this current atmosphere. But there's more people that can afford 1,000 than will afford 2,000. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I will die on the hill of not all people need to have these animals. So a higher price, I agree with.
Mm-hmm.
And if it takes a little bit more time to get that extra money, then awesome. It just shows you want it more also.
Yep.
Well, and another thing, as far as what you just said, Wes, is all these aspiring monitor breeders, man, the first thing you got to realize is these things don't sell overnight. So you got to be able to have raise up enclosures, then the next size enclosure, possibly by the time you get rid of a full clutch, you might have some, fairly decent, 18-month-old adult coming eye or whatever species we're talking about. And if you're not ready for that, that's when you see these people start saying, oh, you got to get rid of them. I can't house all these things. It's like you should be prepared for that.
And then the price starts going lower, lower, lower until they get rid of them. But like that's where like people ask, like, what do you do if you want to breed? Like, what do you do? And it's like what you're doing, Wes. You specialize in a certain thing that you really want to do, and you practice like the albino gurus, and you make your own lane to be in. And I think that's where this part of the hobby is going.
Yeah. If people find their niche inside of it, whether it be reptiles or like monitors, you're going to be so much more successful. Getting a bunch is just going to be overwhelming and not worth it. Well, because you're not gonna love it anymore because it's just going to be work.
So I don't know if you heard the intro. I just sold my F1 Mertens that I bred. I bred them. Well, not the F1,
trio.
but but the Mertens itself. I bred the over the last 8-10 years. Correct. So I put enough of them out there. I don't see a lot of people producing. Brad Gierke's producing with them, and that's great. I just sold these to a potential breeder. I have confidence he'd be able to breed them. But you kind of become known for something, and then it's like, okay, I want a different lane, right? So that's where I'm at right now. I'm working with the Similis that have been kicking my ass for 40 years, but I'm going to beat them. I'm going to beat them in the end. And the Tojis and the Sullas. The only reason I say this stuff is, like, I know the passion you have, Wes, and I, of course, me and Nicky Nick. I know the passion you have, Nick, and like, what's important when you have this passion is to, it's like I feel what I'm doing, and I don't know if you guys feel this way too, but I'm sure you do, is like, I want to do good for the species. You know what I'm saying? Like Tojis. It's a very rare animal, and nobody works with them. They hardly ever come in, and like, so that's what I want to do. I want to do that like I did with Coming Eye and Sulfurs and Mertens. I want to, be able to maybe one day say, hey, you know what? I produced enough of these. I'm sick of them. And I don't know, move on to whatever, Ackies.
Yeah.
Joke.
Hey, that's your style. That's your style. That's cool.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with Ackies. No, So go on. I'm sorry, Wes.
No, it's all right.
You're good.
So Wes, we're gonna backtrack a little bit. So about you, what really got you into reptiles and monitors, like monitors specifically?
I've always had reptiles as like a kid. I think my mom got me my first gopher snake at 9, and I went from gopher snake like straight to anaconda retic. Like,
nice.
Young thought it was cool.
Do that.
Yeah. Took home a yellow anaconda and got laced up by it, and it was just every day it just beat me. And so I ended up getting a black throat, and that was the last monitor or reptile I had until I went in the military. So I kind of left an impression.
Yeah. Now, what happened when you went to the military? Did you sell off that stuff, or did you have someone take care of it?
I went back to the previous owner. Yeah, he took it over.
Well, first, I want to thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, like Nick said, thank you so much for your service to this country that we all love, and we should love it. I mean, it's the last bastion of where we could do this stuff, right? We could play with lizards and snakes, and it's crazy, and still make a living. But also, I wanted to highlight something else about you, Wes. You're a very educated man. You're a very smart man.
Some will say so, I guess. I don't know. I don't try to like act smart. I guess I'm just try to be myself,
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're going places with your higher education, correct?
We'll see. Hopefully, yeah. I just finished my degree in cultural anthropology, and I focused a lot on Peru and the Norte Chico and the town of Corral Supa, and So I just got engulfed in like waterway systems and how these early civilizations managed to just start, implementing like tools and go from, just wandering hunter gatherers to actually starting agriculture techniques, waterways, just everything to be able to live in a place where it's insane Andes mountains. You have crazy deserts, and then from there it's the ocean. And they somehow figure out a way to grow and obtain food throughout all three of these biomes and just be able to like live and thrive and almost have like a system. And I don't know, it just kind of took me over. It was weird. It's just really interesting. You don't learn this stuff in school.
No. So
really-
I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast, and I forget he had, the people he has on, really smart people.
Oh,
But
yeah.
somebody was saying that in the, man, I don't want to mess this up and sound like an idiot, but in the rainforest, in the Amazon, maybe the soil was not conducive with like, they terraformed the Amazon, correct?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of all of South America is insane. Like the Norte Chico had temples 2,000 years before the Egyptians. Then it's just so old. They had the first the Norte Chico staff god. It's basically the first deity ever, and that can be proven in the United States or in North and South America. Sorry, I apologize.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and that was off of a gourd. So, like, that's where they got the picture of that off. And it's basically like a guy with like two little staffs and some crazy teeth. And, there's a snake head on one and like they think a jaguar head on the other, but they're not too positive.
That's crazy.
That's very cool, man. It's very cool to think, how far the human race has come. Hey, I don't know, man. To be honest with you, okay, great. We got Elon Musk with rockets that come back down and all this stuff, but I mean, we've advanced to that. I think of going back to then where, it wasn't technology that got them. I guess maybe it was technology, but in a different way. So these people needed to eat, right? So they had to come up with these ways. So, man, just to think how intelligent were these primitive people? You know what I mean?
In school,
I think
you're always taught that it was like down here and it moved up to where we are now. But like personally, I think like after the more we learn, I think the human race has kind of been a roller coaster. I think we've had some highs and then we've gone down to lows and started again and went back up.
Yeah, I think there's like early humans in general are very we're very smart, I'll say, because it's either you survive or you die.
Right.
You either implement new techniques and new tools or you die. Like there's no, like you don't get a chance at life. It's one shot and the elements are going to kill you or an animal is, you just never know.
Yep.
It's wild. So have you ever been down there, Wes, to study like in person?
No.
I
want to really, really bad. I mean, I wrote a 25-page paper on it, so I think I owe it to myself to go down there, at least check it out.
Definitely.
But I'd like to make that like a family trip too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that'd be super rad to take my son and my wife out there.
So you have one son, Wes?
I have a son and a daughter.
Okay.
Sophia is my daughter with my first daughter. Then we have Weston, and Gracie is also my stepdaughter. Excuse me, but she's my daughter. I've raised her since she was young, and like she's a sidekick. She works at like Petco now, and it's like whenever she needs anything, she'll hit me up, and so it's cool because she knows she always has backup if she needs it for anything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You're a busy man.
And like at my point in life, to see like my son Angelino, he's very hands-on with the animals in the house, and he's just very smart with animals generally. But I have two daughters that are vet techs, and Like just like you said, they'd call me all the time and they'd be like, "Hey, Dad, what do I do for this or that?" And I'd tell them. And my daughter Sarah, just before we got on this, she was all happy. I'm like, "Wow, what happened today?" So somebody had bring in a ball python that had prolapsed two hemipenes, and I'm like, "Well, you took care of that, right?" She goes, "Yeah, Dad. The doctor, like." She's a vet tech, so she's educated, but not doctor educated. And, the doctor's doing his thing. And the doctor had left the room, right? And when the doctor left the room, my daughter did her little sugar water, Manuka honey thing, and she got the prolapse back in. So, yeah, it's very cool to see your passion for animals and like you with, the different tribes of the rainforest and whatnot, to see your kids interested and actually going in that direction. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd argue that stuff is hereditary, the love for animals. Maybe it's just maybe not hereditary actually, but being around that stuff your whole life. Like I know all your kids have been, and hopefully mine loves it too.
Well, wait a minute, man. How old is JJ?
He's 11 months almost.
He's 11 months old, and he's already quacking, so I'm sure
he's already drifting and driving. What are you talking about?
That was awesome.
He's getting it, man. He's dangerous.
He is sliding out the back and stuff with his arm hanging out the window.
That was awesome.
Right.
Yeah, but he quacks like a duck too. That was his second word. He goes quack.
Perfect horn.
Yeah, and I met him at like Nick told me the story about he likes ducks. So Nick said he said, "Tell him quack quack." So I started saying, "Hey JJ, quack quack," and dude, his ears, he went smile from ear to ear, and so he got a new nickname. He's Little Quack Quack.
That's right.
I'm gonna be a duck breeder when I'm older, I think.
No, you let him be the duck breeder.
Yeah,
add it to the list.
Yeah, it's funny because my mom actually breeds ducks, so he's already got a step.
Oh, you're good to go.
Yeah, you see, there you go. Your mom breeds duck. Your dad does all kinds of things with animals, and now look at you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It comes down the tree, or up the tree, however it goes. Yeah.
So, Wes, I know, and I'm not trying to rush it, but we know you're going to be working hard and heavy with these gurus. You got any other, is there any other plans and prospects for monitors, or are you kind of just staying in that lane right now?
I'm working on some double hat for snow, some Exantic teen egg stuff, and then
very cool.
Getting guru into that too.
That's awesome.
So that's the line I'm kind of going down mainly right now. But it's going to be nice and slow. I'm not trying to push out eggs. I'm not, I'm just going to do it at my normal pace and do it right, I feel.
I respect that for sure. It's funny because I started and I was like, I got to get out as many as I want, like as many as possible. You got to get them all out. And then you slowly dial it down. You're like, you feel like you're more honed in and you could focus on your skill set of a breeder, even though we're not doing a lot of it, they're doing it, but we time things and do things the right way. And like the less you have, the more you can focus on that. And when the time comes, you can double down and get it done.
Oh, for sure. And I was going to bring this up. I think we talked about it a little while ago, but just when you're a breeder, being responsible, like if you're having a Partho clutch, that's awesome, right? You didn't do anything to breed it, right? It's just by herself. Like the mom did all the work. And plus with Partho, all the offspring are male, correct?
Yeah. As far as I know.
As far as I know.
For the most part.
Yeah.
The Parthos I've had were all male.
Okay.
And that was with Sulfur and Celebensis. But stuff like that, breeders aren't necessarily telling the customers, right? Or maybe they'll like wholesale them out and then they don't get told that.
Yeah.
So then we have this huge influx of males.
Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of females for sale, like especially in water monitors and every morph. or mutation. You just don't see girls,
Oh.
like a lot, or
Mhm.
what it should be at. I feel like percentage-wise, it's just so saturated with males.
So are you, let me see if I'm picking up what you're putting down. So are you, and I don't, I don't know everything, obviously. Are you thinking that there's a lot of Partho stuff going on that aren't being claimed as Partho stuff?
I think some is, yeah, it's easy to partho.
Yeah.
Like I've had females partho multiple times.
Yeah.
And I mean, back to back, like cycling, like you're breeding them. And I'm not doing anything. It's just outside laying eggs like crazy.
Right.
And
You
like
give 'em
eventually it
everything
gets to the
they
point
do it.
I don't incubate them. I just leave them in the ground, girl.
Yep.
'Cause it's at once I really figured it out. Like ethically, I was just not down for that. Like it wasn't okay with me. And
Right.
people, it's totally fine to do. I'm not saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
I just prefer not to.
No, I hear you.
Absolutely.
And it's true,
Well,
there
you know,
definitely is a
I've
huge influx of males for sure.
It's gnarly.
and I've never had a Partho clutch at all. So
Oh.
with my Tojies, I had lost a few females. I lost 3 females to reproductive events.
It
And
happens.
it happens, right? So when I got these 3 Toji eggs, me and Nick, we talk almost every day, and I was like, you know what? Knowing what I know about them now, I mean, after a few years of working with them, like those females that I tried to breed were entirely too young. That was my fault. I was excited, and
Oh, yeah.
for guys like us, man, it hurts. And it doesn't hurt because, I lost an animal. It hurts because I lost an animal that, that probably wouldn't have been lost if it wasn't for me, right? So I told Nick, I'm going to wait on these captive borns till they're 2 years old before I even introduce them, right? So the female captive born Toji that I have, same thing. Fed her, I think it was about 19 months old. She laid a nice clutch, 6 eggs, and I dug them up, and they were beautiful. I'm like, wow, I can't believe my first Partho clutch, and it's Toji's. They all went bad. So I still don't have no experience with Partho clutches. So I can't really speak
we're all
on
learning.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, to this
Partho
day,
is the weirdest thing to me. I think it takes a special female and a really, really smart one. They're all smart, but those ones that do the Partho are just next level. Like it's crazy.
yeah, it is different. It's super cool though. Like that's an amazing feat for an animal to like know that, like genetically, almost like that's what it's gonna do. Like I need to get some eggs out now.
Yeah.
I need to breed. Like I need to get more babies out here. Like that's cool. A lot of animals don't have that like fail safe.
Yeah.
And what I think is something to talk about as far as Parthos go is like, okay, in your brain you just think, okay, they swam off, they're alone on an island, and to continue their species, because that's what they're all about. That's their female's main goal in life, is to continue the species, right? So they're on this island. They haven't been, they're eating good. The time of plenty's happening. They lay these Parthos, but so you understand that in the wild, on an island, you can understand that. But what, like in captivity, what would trigger that in a female? Like, I don't know. I really don't even know what I'm saying other than,
I'm picking up what you're putting down. I think what it is a mix of not putting a female anywhere near a male, like no sight, no smell, nothing. Like not bringing even a container out to her where she could smell it. Like say if I don't know, like if you hopped onto like a feed plate or whatever, using the same tongs if you tong feed. I think just keeping them away, because I had her outside by herself for a little bit before I paired. So I think it's like that segregation away from males and kind of away from everything, really. I would like to say that's what it is, but it also, like to counter that, like that's a very short amount of time for an animal to use a failsafe to me.
Yeah, it's true.
I just don't know, like, because you always have to look at both sides of that.
If it's like a comfortability thing, like, are you giving them everything that they need and then some, that it pushes them into that? Because like, I've only had it happen twice, or I really once, but the other one was questionable with the black dragon. But the guru was one that I raised from a baby, like hatchling size, raised it here, always kind of kept on that plenty cycle. And then she started dropping from her first clutch was Partho. And I was like, is it just that? Like, she knows this area. This is her area. And she's just comfortable with the system. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that was just my.
Do you have outdoor caging at all?
Nope.
No, okay.
I tried running outside like 10
You're
years
just
ago.
that good, Nick? You just straight up like, she just Partho's inside because it's as good as outdoors.
No, I don't know what it was.
Got lockdown.
Hey, Wes, let me ask you something. It almost seemed like you were getting to a point with that, and I kind of lost track. But we're on the Partho thing, so like the Toji, okay, she laid an obviously infertile clutch. I mean, they looked like good eggs. They didn't look all collapsed and rubbery. They were nice eggs. But nothing ever became of it. I'd never seen no veinage in them or nothing. They went bad really quick too. So, like you're thinking like it has more to do with environment.
I think it's the environment and like the weather definitely are going to play a little bit of part, but then separation of sex is going to have a huge part too. Like, I mean, complete separation.
Right.
Because I had her outside in a 10 by 10 by 10, and he was inside 8 by 4 by 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was his old cage.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a weird thing. I don't think that we could even like turn it on or turn it off with Partho.
I don't think you have any control of it.
And so another point I was going to bring it up with this, like I've heard people say, and I'm not mentioning any names, but we all know these people. So when I say that, I'm giving no assumptions. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I got to watch myself. People beat me up all the time for this, but I know
ridiculous.
It is because now these animals that I'm referring to right now, and this is what makes me say this because of what you're saying, as far as not smelling a male, seeing a male, even feed tongues, right? And I know that this particular animal was a lone female, but I know she was with males in the past, and then a couple years down the road, she laid Parthos that hatched. But this is a really interesting question. Were those truly Partho, or was it retained sperm?
You hit it right on. I was thinking the same thing, Uncle Mike. You hit it right on.
I was looking over at my wall, but I was just trying to take it all in. I think they could be Parthos. I know sperm has an expiration date.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's gonna last a couple years. Maybe a cycle or two. I don't look, once again, I don't know much about that. But yeah, I think it could have.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have had to, right? And then, like, to back that is she was around a bunch of males, bred before. No males disappeared. And, she did something so frequently. And I'm not saying, like, you bred her a lot, but, like, she bred a few times, right? So she got used to those cycles and what was going on. And then the male's just gone. And so it's eventually, I would definitely agree that it could kick it in.
And it's really crazy that we kind of went down this rabbit hole of Partho because, man, I've never had the experience. So, like, is it only with lizards endemic to islands? I've never heard of it or seen it in any Australian stuff. What is it?
I don't even deal with anything really besides
Yeah.
the Asian water monitor. So
Right.
I would have no clue as far as that. It would be interesting though to find out if it's just like a certain few species from a certain, area of the world and
Well,
what the
what
similarities are like.
I try to I think of it like this. So you got Australian mainland species. They're landlocked, or they're landlocked. They're on a huge continent, and then you have Philippines and New Guinea stuff that are definitely island hoppers. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So is that an instilled thing for these island hoppers to you know to populate where they can't populate? And if so, that would make sense. If not, why? How come like Australian miners don't venture away from their home range and have a Partho clutch because there's no other animals around? It's all interesting.
No, it's very
Yeah, you could go down a rabbit hole like that would be insane.
Yeah.
I think we kind of did, but I just think there's a lot of aspects to look at it, and it'll give us a better understanding of these animals and females. Even like you were saying, like I've raised an animal 4 years, 4.5 actually, before she gave me her first infertile. And then I let her go again, and then I bred her, and she died.
Yeah.
And it was just like
we've all had
one like crystallized egg, like something just happened to one egg, and it just it killed her. It was heartbreaking. Like I don't know how many times I've wanted to just quit this because it sucks at times. It's highest of highs, lowest of lows.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's important for guys with the passion like we have with these highs and lows that you stick with it, because like there's answers here, and maybe this simple podcast somewhere down the road will lead to a younger guy coming up who understands it a little better than we do, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
And I want to give credit where it's due, Uncle Mike. I mean, not for nothing, you got to have good people in your corner for when those times do happen. I mean, Uncle Mike, you've talked me off the ledge dozens of times where I'm like, I'm done. I'll lose a female, lose a clutch, lose something, and just talking to that friend, like literally 5-10 minutes will get you back on track again. Like, listen, this needed to happen, so you know what to change. And I mean, we talked about the spinnies in the beginning. I mean, I've wanted to quit that a few times for sure. I mean, even when I pulled that clutch, Uncle Mike, you said, leave them alone. Just leave them alone. Stop messing with them. If they're good eggs, hatch when they hatch. Sometimes you just need that person to kick you in the ass. And
my wife is like my rock when it comes to that. She always sets me straight. She's very supportive, and that's kind of why I'll end up getting just focusing straight on just like the snow stuff, and because when someone backs you up that much, you have to reciprocate back to them and show them how much you appreciate it and how much it meant to you. Like I wouldn't have World's First, I wouldn't have Sulfurs, I wouldn't have anything, honestly, if it wasn't for her being supportive of it. And that's huge.
Wes, you glitched out. I didn't catch who you were talking about. Was that your wife or?
Oh, yeah, my wife Mandy. She is like the backbone for me when it comes to this. She's always there to make sure everything's good and supportive. And I think you really need that in this industry because it's hard to find good friends and good people. And if you can at least find a good friend, a couple, or get in that right crowd, you're good to go. But if you have like good family dynamics, like that's honestly, I think one of the best things you can possibly have for this, because you'll have that support when you need it. And I think everybody needs that with this,
100%. Family and people that understand.
Because as rewarding as it is, there are times, and with this internet, you see people on the internet, and it's like, wow, man, that guy's got that lady's got a really good life. But it's like, man, I'm 62, bro. I know it ain't all sunshine and rainbows, bro. You're just not telling us, the pitfalls and all the other, just the natural things, loss and we all have
goes through all of it.
Absolutely. It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Normal life, let alone this. I mean, we put ourselves in a predicament where things live and die in our care all the time. And I mean, we're pushing our females to the limit with a lot of things and asking them to do things that they're not naturally doing in captivity.
I'm surprised. It's really crazy, like how many people will just pump eggs.
Yep.
And it goes through all species too, honestly.
Yeah.
You'll see it through everything, you know, that you can control like that. It's just, I think sometimes we lose sight, you know. Maybe we get like a little cash money in our eyes, you know, think we're going to make a buck, start producing, you know, get a little ego, and you think you're going to go rule the world, you know, and that's cool. But, you know, at the same time, we got to like tone it down and like work together as breeders to ensure like we all can keep these animals at a nice price. People can still buy them and love them, you know. But like once again, like with this podcast, like it's great because we're talking, right? And maybe we'll piss some people off, and that's okay because maybe we'll talk, and that's the only thing that's going to fix anything. I mean, I got into it with someone a couple weeks ago, and like we started talking, and you know, I still don't agree with some stuff, but that's okay. Like I have a better understanding of the individual, and that's all that matters, right? That we're talking and we understand each other.
Well, you know, Wes, I got to say, man, I'm not proud to say this, but you know, especially in my younger days, forget about it. Yeah, there'd be fights all the time. But now, like with the color morph thing, I'm not a big fan. I'm definitely not a fan of hybrids. So if you're doing hybrids, I see the damage that hybridization actually causes down the road because I've been around long enough. That like when I do see people doing hybrids and stuff, I try telling them, you know, and then I get arguments like this. Well, you know, if you keep the data or you pit tag the animals, I'm like, look, I've been around long enough to know you keep the data, you pit tag animals, and I sell you an animal that's not a hybrid, but I got to use that because that's what we're talking about. So you sell a hybrid animal that has, you know, recorded data about, you know, it's this species and that species, and that paper goes with the buyer, right? Even a pit tag, that pit tag, which you would think is fallible, is unfallible. That goes with the next person, right? Well, now that person has their 5th kid. I can't keep the animal no more. Forget the data. Forget even telling you there's a pit tag in the animal. Now you give it, you know, you sold it to another person who says, oh, well, it looks like a coming eye. I'll breed it with a coming eye. Now you're inadvertently producing hybrids, and, you know, like the Philippines is closed. So hybrid coming eye or hybrid anything from the Philippines is terrible. It's just like the whole Flavorufus thing. It's terrible.
I mean, the first time me and you talked, you gave me your number, and I think you called me up right at the gas station. Remember the Celebenza sulfur clutch we talked about?
Yeah.
Sometimes you mix them, and sometimes they just come out dead. Perfectly fine every time. I was able to raise one to like a year and a half before it passed, and it was like, even at a year and a half, it was under a foot, and it was the meanest thing you've ever seen in your life. It's pretty, but like, again, right, I learned a valuable lesson. And you always have hounded that. Like, don't be mixing stuff. Try to keep it pure, especially with the sulfur. Well, you know, young kid, whatever, dude, that's rad. Like, I'm going to go do this. And then, you know, you get stuff where it doesn't work out. And it's a good lesson to learn.
It is.
It's a valuable lesson to learn.
And don't get me wrong. I understand the thoughts behind it. I do. I mean, but when you think about it, if you hybridize something, what do you call it? You can't call it Celebensis. You can't call it Bivitatis because it's neither. And then, like I said, then you sell it to Nick. Nick keeps it for a little while. He forgets all that data bullshit. He sells it to me. Now I think I have this, and I try to breed it to that. You know what I mean? It's just, it
happened to me. What we're talking about has happened to me.
It looked like a Sid rat too, like a pure Sid rat.
Wow.
It was crazy.
That's
Like
nice.
I could have sold it and totally like you said, no one would have really known.
Right. Let me ask you something, Wes, because you
Yes, sir.
sounds like you went down that hybridization type, or even celibensis. So me and Nick, we have a project. So when I got my Tojis and I lost those females,
Mhm.
I'm desperate, right? There's no Tojis anywhere, let alone a female, right? So I got a call from a friend who said, and this is what started this whole unidentified Sulawesi species, right? So
Yep.
I got this animal, and Nick can vouch for this. This thing, I knew it was so big, and it obviously looked like a male, but this guy guaranteed it's a female, blah, blah, blah. So I got this animal. What was it, like 5.5 feet long, maybe 9-10 pounds, Nick?
Yeah, it was a big animal.
So it was a big animal, right? So I get it, and I'm expecting, a black animal with white, a Toji. I'm expecting a Toji, very sleek, thin, agile. I get this thing. I take it out of the box. I look at it. I'm like, God, man, it's a male. So I got a male of this giant species from Sulawesi. Don't know what it was, and at that time I was told it's a Togianus with a Sulawesi locality. I'm looking, I'm doing research, talking to Robert Spracklin, and there's nothing about Togianus, this separate form from Sulawesi. And me and Nick are talking, and it's a very big, heavy animal. It's graphite gray with its face, and its whole belly was a salmon pink color. Very, very unique and beautiful. And I hated this animal, right? And it started well, I wanted Toji. I wanted a Toji, right?
Oh yeah.
So it started growing on me, and I was like, you know what? And I released OJ, that's my male Togianus. I put him in with this animal, and they're both head bobbing, and this big giant animal, like, he wanted to get OJ. He wanted to, he was horny, obviously. He was a big old male, and he couldn't catch OJ, so OJ would just avoid him. But I'm looking at him and taking pictures, and I'm like, Nick, there's no way this is a Togianus. It's body style, its head structure, its coloring, everything was so different. And that's when we started coming up. And then I was talking to Dr. Robert Spracklin, sent them shed samples of both. He said that's not the same species. No matter what it is, it's not a Togianus. So, so now recently somebody is saying to me that you got your Sid wraps, right?
Yeah.
Which are, that is a gorgeous, gorgeous lizard. And then you got, I think they're called pinrang, another type of Celebensis, which is not really that pretty. And then somebody claims that that there's a black Celebensis from the Sulawesi, whatever it is.
Like pure black?
No, it's not. It's like what I'm describing.
Older, from remember the hatchlings, Uncle Mike, with the starry pattern?
Yeah.
And then as I got older, they turned almost black.
So you've seen my Palu female, right?
Your what?
My Palu female Celebensis?
No, I didn't. So you could send me a picture.
Yeah, for sure. So I was talking to John because I was the first person to produce captive bred Celebensis in the USA. And when I did that, I wanted to make sure like they're still going to be pure Celebensis, right?
Right.
Even though it's a locality difference, or location difference of where they're actually at. I ended up recently just seeing one a guy found over there, and he posted it, and I was talking to him. I'm like, these look really similar to when I bred my Sid wrap to my Palu, and I showed him some photos. He's like, yeah, we have them that look like that all the time. And in that clutch were animals that look completely Sid wrap, animals that look completely Palu, right? So Palu's a real dark with like the little yellow dots,
Yeah.
Osceola, sorry. And then Sid wrap's just that yellow that's just gnarly and real nice. And so
in their back pattern, they've got an obviously very identifiable back pattern with the ocelli and everything. That's what I'm saying. These animals, they don't have ocelli at all. If anything,
it's that like star looking one, that real speckled, like light one.
Yes, but I have one that's actually completely patternless as well.
Oh wow!
They actually lose the pattern as they get older. The pattern and their belly bands, like they have bands as babies, and they actually recess as they get older to just have nothing on their belly.
Oh wow!
And so me and Nick have a pair of those, of the big one that I was describing to you. And then Nick had sent me, I mean, we're obsessed with this project. So,
for sure.
Literally the big giant animal that I had sent to Nick, he had got it with another female of whatever this is. And he had a couple of clutches. None of them were fertile. So my male baby, he had passed away. And that hurt because, man, that was an awesome animal. But
yeah, that's always a bummer.
and again, I said, hey, Nick, no problem. You know, you did your best. You know, thank you.
I was bent out of shape with that one. I couldn't even tell you. That was rough.
Yeah, it's never fun, man. And people don't always realize that we have to deal with these things like that.
So right when you think it's over, right? Nick gives me a text. He's like, hey, Uncle Mike, I found babies of baby. I'm like, wow, cool. Show me some pictures. So he started sending me pictures, and I'm looking at the pictures, and like literally within the hour, he goes, you got nothing to worry about, Unc. I'm like, why? What's going on? I bought them. I said, you bought those too? He goes, no, I bought 9. I bought all 9 of them.
Oh, dang. That's awesome. Heck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But so out of the 9, and I'm sure after we get off the podcast between me and Nick, you could see, maybe you can help us with this. So there were some that were obviously celebensis. And then these 2, which are like baby, this giant water monitor from Sulawesi, very unique. And then he had sent me one more, and I'm like, Nick, I think this one's a celebensis, you know, one of the, and when I say this, it's the only way I know how to describe it. Like I say Sid Rap, that's gorgeous. These celebensis were just average, you know, nothing special. And so he sent me that one. So that one is a lot different than these other 2. That's why I'm still thinking they're an undescribed species. I mean, Spracklin, Sam Sweet, Quetzal Dwyer, none of them know what the hell it is.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be learned in that area still. I think it hasn't been studied.
Oh, yeah.
But I wanted to go back. There's like 3 things I wrote down, Wes, but one of them was you were saying that you had different ones from the same clutch. So you think they were kind of like a variation, kind of like, I'm not saying lace, but you know what I mean? Like a pattern variation that's dominant within those?
A color.
Okay.
That's a color variation. Yeah. With the celebensis, the Sid Rap being yellow, Palu being that dark black, heavy base. Yeah, it's strictly color. And then like another thing you guys can want to look at yours for like a celebensis that I've noticed. And also Robert Fox, you know, we can always hit him up and get some good opinions from him. But heavy facial banding. Like my girls have the raddest, just thick, nice facial bands on the top jaw and bottom, and I
gotta say, I was happy to hear you say that because these are actually, their face is patternless. It's this yellow pink color, and they did have banding as babies, but it really faded. Their bellies are yellow, real like a green yellow.
Face.
And these are the first times you guys have ever seen him.
Yeah.
Seen him before.
Yeah, I mean, we're finding stuff all the time in different parts of the world.
Yep.
So, I mean, and look how easy they get mixed up, right? When they field collect them and then just spread them across the world.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting numbers. They're not getting what these animals are. And most of the time, not even location, you know?
Yeah. Right.
It's, so a lot of it is just hard. I think the people that are able to go and actually research it probably could find out a lot. It's just probably not something that anybody wants to pay for the research to do, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because everything has to be paid for like that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it ain't cheap.
It's so crazy with that stuff because they all just get compiled and then shipped out in one box, one container from something from this island, that island, that island. And I was talking to Justin today, Uncle Mike, about his Dilophus, that like the Maruk locality is so different than Jayapura, and like he's been looking for this one specific locality, and I think Maruk or one of them just came in, and a couple of those trickled in with Maruk. So it's just crazy. Like, how did they from all the way over there say Jayapura get in with Maruk?
Well,
like,
you know,
so
the world is getting to be a small place with the, you know, with the internet and everything. It's, you know, it's very small, but you gotta also keep in mind that, you know, these people that are going out and they know the localities and they're making a little bit of money. I mean, the money they're making catching these things is dirt. So they're not going to give up. Yeah, they're not going to give up their source for their nickel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're not looking for localities. They're looking for convenience. What's the easiest?
Yeah, that's a really good point to bring up too, Mike. Is like a lot of these guys, their livelihood are on these animals, and if you give up a location, that's all your pay, you know. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, because before you know it, you got a guy, and I ain't got no beefs with this guy. I actually kind of like watching his adventures because of his passion. So you got a guy like, you know, Father Blue, who bought a catamaran, and his goals are to jump in his catamaran and cruise down to whatever the wherever the black trees come from. So it's like, man, you know, when that dude sitting in the woods sees this motherfucker coming on his catamaran, he's gonna be like, I should never have told him.
Like,
it's true. I mean, he's from pretty local he's from the city. There's like an hour and a half away, so it is cool. He's a good dude. It's cool to see him chasing his dreams. I mean,
who's that?
Yeah, that's right.
Different. Father Blue.
Oh, he's from New York or something. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to check out his stuff.
Yeah, you know what's really crazy? So like I go so far back that, dude, that's not original, bro. If you could believe that, that's not original. There was a guy up in Canada back in the mid-90s who did the same thing, but I don't think his boat was ever seaworthy. So he got actually the same kind of boat, one of them giant catamarans, right? And he was going to go get all the Dilophus and the things. He was all into them horned dragons and stuff. And like when this Father Blue started doing that, I'm like, holy shit, wait a minute, man. I've heard this story before. And then it bring up the old memories of this other Canadian guy that was going to do the same thing. But, you know, again, like I said, in this day and age with the internet making the world a very small place, you know, those people got to be thinking like that. I'm not telling nobody nothing, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I think about another friend of mine that uses iNaturalist to figure out localities, and he was telling somebody over there, like, I want them from here, based on his phone. Like, he's telling the guy the animals that he wants to go get based on one picture. It's just crazy. It's wild.
Yeah.
That's super rad.
Yeah. But to dial back even further, we were talking about Partho, and then we dove into it a little bit, sperm retention. I feel like that's a really good subject for us to touch on. Do you guys believe in sperm retention? And if so, for how long?
I've had a girl go one cycle.
Okay.
And then I knew it wasn't Partho because I kept some babies back and ended up being boy and girl. And it was the same exact like genetics as before.
In between?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I just basically paired them up when she was ready. I didn't want to breed her again. She went another cycle, nothing. Next cycle went. I think is what it was.
And now I'm going to lend in some information here that's totally out of my wheelhouse because the bull and they kicked my But, you know, I also learned a lot dealing with, you know, the bull and I people, Ari and Keith McPeak and Scott Flood. So those animals, and it's a different climate too, right? It's very cool. They migrate, you know, the males migrate I think the males migrate. So they go from,
that's cool.
You know, yeah. And they are known to hold sperm, but they're not from a sweltering climate. So maybe that cooler temperatures is more conducive with retained sperm. I don't know, but again, it's a cool rabbit hole to go down.
Definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I mean, Wes kind of threw my opinion out the window because I was kind of like, I always thought that it wasn't really true with monitors, but I mean, if you had it, Wes, I have no opinion.
I can go back and look. It may have been the exact next one. I may have had that wrong. Or I just bred had a bait, but yeah, it and then it goes back to the Partho thing, right? Can there be girls with Partho? Because if there is, and that was Partho, and I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Yeah, I think I'm right, but there's also a decent percentage, probably not because she was already bred and, you know, so close. But I think you can make an argument out of anything really until you can prove it.
Right.
That was the thing with like snakes and stuff. You see, like, I feel like you see in geckos, definitely I've had sperm retention with geckos, but with monitors, it's just so weird because, like, I know personally, like I've seen them breed and lock and all that stuff and still got infertiles. So that's where, like, I kind of fought the sperm retention thing because I'm like, if I was a couple days off with pairing them or something, like, you would think that you'd be able to hold the sperm if she wanted it to happen. Like, maybe, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole you go down. Like, is it controlled? Like, maybe she didn't want it to happen. And so she shut that off, and she's like, you know what? I don't want to hold it, and just pass it.
Right? Size and species, right? Like that could play a factor too. Bigger animal could maybe contain it inside where the temperature is not going to get higher than, I don't know, you know, there's so many variables to it, but
that's the thing is, like, I personally think about snakes and stuff there's definitely smart snakes, but we're talking about another level of smarts, and maybe they have a different, maybe they can turn it off and just be like, you know what, I don't want to produce, even though I have the sperm. I just wonder, like, how long that sperm retention would be for.
Right. I wouldn't think it'd be too long though.
Yeah.
But like,
you wouldn't think. Animals, go on, Wes. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
My animals outside act completely different than when they do inside. Now he tries to go up like 10 feet and he loves chilling up high on a big old log. Like, all of my monitors want to go up. And I'll catch them in the morning, like sunbathing on like a 6-foot platform. So you also get like a way better experience to me if you're able to keep them outside in something like you can just walk in. And it benefits everyone, the experience for you, the animals, you know, health and well-being. Definitely. And then you can just make it super cool and however you want it. And that's what's rad.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, Wes, you know, we had you on, and it you know, this doesn't happen all the time with our podcast. We try to, you know, focus on you. We want to promote you and what you're doing, and sometimes, like, we get the OG on, like Tom Crutchfield, or, you know, just like Robert Spracklin, and we get way beyond, like, you. Like, we're way beyond you, Wes. However, your insight feeds this. It feeds this great conversation that, like, more of this needs to happen. You know, it's great saying, you know, I bred the Celebensis, and, you know, I bred the Sulfurs and Mertens. It's great. The Spinnies, that's all great.
Yeah.
But when you get away from that and start getting into the nuts and bolts of, you know, more unknown and important thing, and I'm not saying it's more important, but you guys understand what I'm saying, right?
No, I think it is important because the more you know your animal, the better you can care for it.
Absolutely. I think this conversation is fantastic. Probably one of our best. We appreciate you, Wes.
No, I appreciate you guys. Like, I think this is awesome. It's just like kicking back with some friends and just having a good combo, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've always respected you, Wes. We've been friends from the beginning. But it's just,
I appreciate it.
of course, man. I mean,
And
you're doing
likewise,
great
man.
things.
Like, you guys are
I
awesome.
can tell you're a great dude without ever sitting down and having this face to face. I could tell on social media, and I think that's more of what we need to do is just sit down and talk to people. I think we come up with these imaginary lines like I'm doing this, this guy, all this stuff on social media because we're not sitting face to face. I think
Like, give me a better understanding of why.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Everybody in this community, we all love the same thing. If we all sat down, we'd all be fine. We'd have different things that we don't agree on. That's human nature. That's normal. Nothing wrong with that.
I also think that with our success, we get egos at times.
Definitely. 100%.
And then as you mature, you kind of shed it, right? I thought I was like awesome for doing so events stuff. And then I realized like I like to be in the back of the room.
Yeah.
I'll post if I make something cool. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's a hobby for me more than anything. Like, I love doing this. I love watching them. I don't love changing waters. That's the one thing I don't love. But besides that, you know.
Gotta get drains, Wes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, something. Outside, I just dump them. But yeah,
Right.
inside, I need to run like a plumbing or something.
That's key for me.
Do your plumbing just like that. But I'll have to lift cages, so that's going to be a pain.
Yeah. Well, you could just lift the water dish too, you know, or the tub.
Yeah.
You know,
Just run it straight out the back.
Yeah. That's like, so we another important point I wanted to get across, like, okay, as far as locality crosses and hybrids, I've seen the damage. I'm never gonna come off of that hill. Certain things too, like diet and stuff. You know, I've been there and I've done that. However, kind of in the past year, couple years, I'm like, hey, look, man, if that guy wants to feed fucking marshmallow, you do whatever, do what you do. I try to tell him, hey, look, you know,
processed chicken nuggets. That's what I've seen recently.
Yeah, processed foods aren't good.
What about the dog food? Did you see that guy?
That too. Crazy.
Yep.
And like it was like, oh, it just ate it. Like, what do you mean it just ate it? Like, don't let it just eat it. You're like videotaping, you know, like that's not even good for our dogs, like some of these foods. Like, and you're giving it to an animal like that.
You know what, Wes? I'm glad you said that because yes, you're absolutely correct. Processed foods are not to be fed to food processors, right? I mean,
yeah, and I did the bad thing when I first came in, and I did that. I'll be the first to admit it. And you know who told me I was wrong? You did, Uncle Mike. On that conversation we had, you're like, "What are you feeding it? Where are the quail? Where's the whole thing?" And I'm like, "Okay, cool."
And let me ask you something, since you know, because this is a thing that I get in trouble with a lot, but it is what it is. Because I've seen the damage. I don't just say this stuff. I was young once too, and I didn't have money, and I tried, you know, the cheaper ways and processed foods. I tried it all, and when I seen how damaging it was to my animals, that's when I said no. That this is, and then I looked into the nutrition and how these animals process the food that they eat. They are food processors. They don't need you to process nothing for them. So, have you noticed? Because I told you that, and you admitted that just now, and I am not trying to say I told you so, and I'm not, because I like you a lot.
But you did. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I was wrong. Like, I'd rather learn and do it correctly.
Now, have you seen an improvement with your animals since stopping?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bigger egg clutch sizes, healthier females. I mean, list goes on.
How about cleaning the greasy water and all that's a little different too, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And then you know, you're getting the feathers, or you know, the quail or eggs, whatever.
Right.
But it's everything's much healthier for the animal.
Yeah.
And it's expensive, dude.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Told me to, and I was losing a lot more animals, in all honesty, before I changed, and I didn't know why. And that was the thing I didn't know.
Well, you know, with that being said, so processed foods, we were just talking about. God, I had a point I wanted. This is the problem with me. My brain don't work no more.
It's all good.
We're talking about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We've been a little bit of everywhere. I like it.
Yeah. Well, you know, these are all like important. It's all very important.
Oh yeah, for sure.
People, keep these animals. And like I said, I don't just say this stuff. I actually have done it and blah, blah, blah. It hit me again. So before I forget it. So you said that's not even good to feed to your dog. Okay. We know that. However, now that the world is becoming so much smaller, and like I was watching I don't know what it was, a YouTube or whatever, but at like Purdue Farm or what's the other one? Tyson. These chickens, okay, these white ass chickens, and I'm not talking about a live bird, I'm talking about already the feathers are off of it, and it's going down the line, and there's these people with hazmat suits on, and they got this rod. They shove it into the breast, and they pull it out, and as they're pulling it out, one breast pops up. They do it on the other side. The other breast pops up. They do it into the legs and into the wings, and everything pops up. Then it goes along a conveyor, and then it drops down, it goes into this bath, and then it comes back out, and then it's packaged for sale. So think about that. You say it's not good for your dogs to eat that processed food. Think about what they're feeding us and for how long they've been feeding us this shit. Chickens pumped with hormones, antibiotics, chlorine bath. It's terrible. We shouldn't be eating that stuff.
Oh no, and that's why I love studying what I study, right? Because there was a lot less like ailments and diseases, not as far as like what everyone brought to South America.
Right.
But, like these people were thriving off of like the freshest food.
Right.
And the healthiest things you can get straight from nature.
Right.
And
so you're talking about like diet-based diseases like diabetes, heart issues.
Yeah. I mean the whole world is pretty much, yeah, you see it everywhere now.
Right.
But if you go to like even older, like tribes like the Maasai, right? Look at them. Yeah. They're studs. They're just straight animals.
Monkey heads and shit.
Yeah, like they're chasing down stuff, and they're so athletic, and they, can run for like these long distances. And then, I think over in like the Java area, there's a tribe over there where like their whole, like the sea just rotates, right? Like there's nothing but the sea for them. And they have dove so much that their lung capacity is greater than average humans because that's all they're doing all day,
right.
And you start getting these like advantages in a sense, right? Where your body is just conforming to like its environment. And yep. I feel like once you stop like doing that exercise, once you stop like eating, somewhat healthy, it's just, when you stop that, it's just not good for your body, and it's just going to go down. And that's why you're getting these diseases, like even some genetically, right?
Yep.
And it's just a bummer.
Yeah. So I've been doing, I don't know, probably about 5, 7, 8 years, something like that. And I've been really, I'm getting older, so I worry about my diet and this and that. And, I can remember when I was a kid. Hold on a second. I never heard somebody they were lactose intolerant or they had an objection to gluten. And then I seen this guy just recently, he's a healthy guy, right? And he has that, whatever that thing is with gluten where you can't eat processed wheat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I went to Italy. I ate the bread. I ate the pasta. Never once got blown up. Never once, was bloated from it. So it's I got to say it's got to be, and when I say the West, I guess I'm including like Canada.
We're definitely the worst in the race, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So like, I love bread. I love pasta, and I just can't eat it here anymore. But when I heard this guy talking about, the bread, the taste is so different, the texture is so different. So that's what kind of blows me away about, man, is it us out of convenience, or is it our government out of whatever reason they're doing what they do? But like, I think to have this convenient lifestyle, you pay for it with your health.
Yep. Yeah. It's just ironic, like from a breeder's perspective, that We want these animals to perform for us. We want them to breed. We want them to do all this stuff so we get babies, but we want to put bare minimum into them. It's like, if you want me to go work out and be a UFC fighter, a triathlon runner, you're not going to feed me McDonald's. Right. You're going to feed me steaks. You're going to feed me grilled chicken. You're going to feed me salads, all this healthy stuff. And then I'll go perform in the UFC or do a triathlon. Like, this is our animals performing for us, but we want to put like McDonald's through them. It's
well, you know what, Nick, with that being said, I think the American diet is well adapted for the American lifestyle because 90% of us are freaking couch potatoes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what
all these people coming over for the World Cup just freaking out about our food, you know?
Yeah.
Like a lot of places don't have like these extra preservatives and stuff we throw in there. And, you know, they can't believe that we get free refills. And you know,
I've seen that. Yeah, that's funny you say that. My kid was just telling me about that.
Yeah.
But
I feel bad for all of them because they're all coming into Newark, New Jersey, which is not an area you really want to be.
Yeah, but you know, you feel bad for them. But really, when you think about it, so they come into our country, right? They eat chicken McNuggets and they eat, you know, our processed foods, but they're still going back. You know what I mean? They don't have to live on this shit. Really?
Yeah, true.
You know, unless you're growing your own stuff, man. You know, and what I've been doing lately is instead of going to like my grocery store, I go to a butcher shop here in the country. Yeah. And I'm telling you something. The chicken looks different. The steak looks different. It tastes different. The texture is different. So everything that's so convenient for us is definitely not good for us. And I don't mean to go on that rant, but it does coincide. If it's terrible for our bodies, what is it doing to these animals who have no clue what polysorbate junior or you know, monoglucate or whatever the shit is, and you're going to give it to your animal? Their bodies have no idea what that is.
Well, the thing that sucks is like with human diet, the good stuff is more expensive. Unless you go source it yourself, like with the monitors and stuff, I go to a local farm around here. He's sponsored a podcast, Klein's Feeders, and you get your stuff at a better rate than going and buying it from a Petco, PetSmart, stuff like that. But you're getting a healthy diet, and it's the same with human diet too. Anything healthy is like 3 times the price. It's crazy.
Yeah, I hunt and fish a lot, so I'll like freeze fish for long periods of time, or like the hogs I'll kill, and same thing, like meat's crazy different, low in fat, and I'll cut that up and I'll give it to the monitors because it's low in fat, so it's just gonna be good energy boost for them, and they tear it up. Like it's probably one of their favorite foods that they prefer over anything is wild hog because it has that gamey, you know, smell to it.
Absolutely.
I can throw like half a carcass in there and they'll just tear it to shreds.
You know, that's actually good enrichment for them too, to you know, to savage a carcass, you know.
Oh yeah, and it's they act different. It's funny seeing like their heads stick in, like popping out all weird, you know, like a little like what a Komodo would do, and it's cool, and I like it, and I think it's an experience that like other people should just give it a shot. You know, you're not feeding live; it's already dead.
Yep.
And just see how your animal reacts, because you may say something cool that you've never seen before, like
absolutely
the way it's acting, you know, and
like barrel
maybe
roll,
it just doesn't like the
food.
Oh yeah, like just shaking everything or like trying to it's
you know, it's funny.
Even.
You say that, Wes. It brings me back to when I was a kid, man. I was watching this National Geographic show, and there was a dead hippo kind of in the water, but out of the water, like on the shoreline. And this thing is it's bloated, you know, it's huge. And and you see its belly, it's writhing. I'm like, what the heck? And I really caught my interest. I kept watching it. And sure as shit, shortly after, you know, the video started, you just see this Nile monitor's head comes out. And there's just like sauce and, you know, death just dripping off of it.
That's
and
awesome.
It relished it, you know?
It's not the sweet, but like, on a small scale, like with what I have different sized quail. I'll give an oversized quail once in a while to like a Molinas just to watch it behave and give it some enrichment instead of just throwing it back and swallowing the whole thing. Let it tear it up.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot to just do something different.
Yeah.
But so I know we're getting long here, and that's fine because
You're
this
good.
conversation is awesome. So
Heck yeah.
I wanted to say something. Trust me, when I think of Celebensis, you know, I think of you and I think of Fox. And when he's seen Baby and then these other Sulawesi undescribed water monitors, he don't call him Celebensis either. So, you know, that was really reaffirming. And I'd like to send you the photos, and if you could send me photos of those plows, and you know, get to the bottom of it. What, you know, whether there's something different or not, I don't care. They're cool. It's a cool species.
There's one other characteristic we missed too, Uncle Mike, like the tail. Remember the banding goes all the way down?
Yeah.
And with those, it stops like halfway west, and then it just goes black. And it's only those. It was with none of the other ones that we were looking at. It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's almost
it sounds
head to
different.
toe. Head
for
to
sure.
tail, different characteristics. But
I'm
like,
glad you guys have them.
You don't
Because
really
you're going to
know.
be able to do it for sure.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Wes? Nicky Nick, I'm really grateful for this. When we started this, you know, I mean, the norm is alive, right? Okay.
Mhm.
And Nick said, no, let's record them because Nick wanted to pop pictures in here, you know, while we're talking about these animals. He'll pop in what we're talking about and what you're talking about. And man, Nick, it sounds like you got your work cut out for you on this one.
Definitely got my work cut out for me. Good thing I have
dude.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, hey, Wes, what's like? I know, I'm sure I've already asked you this. You're just kind of staying the course right now. You're going to work out these gurus and you're going to push them to as far as you can go. Very commendable. And thank you so much for coming on here, Wes.
Yeah.
It's always great
thank you
talking
guys.
to you.
I appreciate it a lot.
Yep. And thank you for your service and your hard work with these animals and your passion for them. We really appreciate you. Yeah, absolutely. Always. It'll always be there. It means
a lot.
Yep.
You're a great dude, Wes, and thank you for everything you've done for this country, and thank you for everything you do in the monitor community, man. I know you said you like to be at the back of the room guy, and I commend you for that. I do, but you work in silence, and I also respect that a lot too.
Absolutely. Yep. Let your results
do my
speak.
part.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So, Wes, listen, you know, you got an open invitation, man. If you know, we're definitely going to reach out to you again to have you back on. But if you ever have like an idea, you just hit up Uncle Mike or Nick. We'll get you back on, you know, for whatever it is that you want to bring up. But it has been a fantastic conversation. I know a lot of people are going to get a lot out of this, so we thank you very much, Wes.
Yeah,
I hope so. I hope it was good. I hope we put out enough information or people could learn some new stuff and maybe try some new stuff too, you know, and just enhance their experience, even if they've had, you know, these animals for years.
Yeah. There's an hour and 40 minutes. And we really crammed that one, guys. There was a ton of info in there. So
and you know,
thank you, Wes.
Thanks.
Before we go, I want to say your humble nature is very refreshing. You know, I try to say this all the time. It's like, I've been doing this a long time, but there's no way in the world I think I know everything. I learned a lot tonight from you. So being humble, having an open mind, that's what we expect. Well, not expect. That's what we would hope all the brainiacs that watch this and listen. Don't think you ever know nothing, because someone else always knows a little bit more, and it just adds to your toolbox, right?
Oh yeah, of course. And people are from other places, have had different experiences, different levels of education, you know, and it's being able to like have all that. Sorry, I just blanked out.
It's all right. Happens to me all the time.
What were you saying?
These are conversations that, like, the animals get us into this, but these conversations with people, they re-spark that fire sometimes. I've had that happen to me many times, maybe even weekly in this hobby. So it's conversations like these that not only help us sitting here, but I'm sure they help a lot of people watching.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's a good platform to do it on, and you guys are two really knowledgeable individuals that, you know, have really good accomplishments or amazing accomplishments in different aspects. And, you know, just being able to listen to you guys I've learned stuff just through different species of different podcasts of yours. Some species like makes me look into them more. Like I really like the lace type of stuff, and how they are. So even I've been around lace. My friends have had lace, but there's certain stuff that they don't talk about that you guys do or you mention. So it's always nice to just pick up little stuff from other individuals. Doesn't matter who.
Right. Well, it's, another thing we say here, it probably sounds redundant. We say it so much. Less is more. Iron sharpens iron, and I definitely feel much sharper after this conversation. So thanks again, Wes. We really appreciate you. Wes Carter, everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll have you on again soon.
Yeah, and we'll hit you up like after the show.
Sounds great.
Thanks, Wes. Thank you so much.
All right, later, guys.
See ya. What's going on, guys? So when it comes to husbandry, I can't think of anything more important than your feeders. What you're putting through your animal, but not only that, what's going through the animal that's about to go through your animal. There's a lot of steps to it, and if you're not farming it yourself, it can be very hard to find someone you could trust. So let me take the guesswork out for you. Kleinsfeeders.com is the best that I've found. It's who I use. It's who Uncle Mike uses. It's someone I know personally. It's family owned. They've been doing this since 2008, guys. 18 years. They know what they're doing. They've fine-tuned and perfected it throughout their farms, and I have nothing to complain about. I've had nothing but positive experience with Brendan and his family. They are the best out there. And the best part is they're in the United States. Don't buy from these guys because they're getting them from China and all overseas. And by the time they get here, who knows what those feeders are packed with. So don't mess around. Go to kleinsfeeders.com and feed the best you can.
Wow, Nick. Dude, I got to say, man, that was, an hour and 42 minutes. Okay. That's not what we said.
No.
But again, you get on these people.
I got baked in the sun today. I was like, Uncle Mike, in all honesty, I was like, Uncle Mike, I don't know how long I'm going to last. I'm tired, but you get into it and it just flies by.
Dude,
talking about something you love and everything else falls to the wayside.
So there's not been one Monitor Brains podcast because like me, I get up early and, usually by 3:00 in the afternoon, I'm pretty much winding down. Right. Yeah. And I cook dinner for my family and we've got to clean the dishes and everything else. Right. And then it's like, boom, it's 6:00 my time. And it's like, you know how it is before when we first hit each other up.
Yeah.
You tell me about your sunburn. I tell you about my long fucking day, and excuse my language, and I'm burnt out. And then we start talking with guys like that. And It's just like, dude, I feel like right now I could go chop a tree down for real. It's so invigorating.
Uncle Mike, it's undescribable.
It is.
It's revitalizing. It sparks that fire again.
Absolutely. And you know what? And I've talked to Wes in the past, but man, that's an amazing guy right there.
Great guy.
That's an amazing guy.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing is like, I never had any ill thought of Wes. That's why, I wish I clarified that better. Like, I've always liked Wes. There was never a time where I'm like, oh, Wes. Always felt good about Wes. Always knew he was a good guy, but I've never sat down face to face with him. And it's like, man, sometimes I wish this hobby would just sit down face to face with each other. And I feel like all of these not even just this hobby in the world, just sit down with somebody that you think you have a problem with. And I guarantee you're not going to have a problem with them unless that person's just irate or has other problems going on in life. I mean, you never know. I mean, that's one thing my parents always said to me. It's like, you never know what somebody's going through. And
absolutely.
It's crazy when you're that guy that's going through something and somebody's poking the bear. Just remember that you might be poking the bear, and maybe just back off and then revisit it another time.
Yep. And again, like, that's refreshing to sit down and talk. And like, when you don't come in with no preconceived notions, we have a great conversation.
We plan nothing.
Do we agree? Do we agree on everything? No, but we get our points across. We're civil. Yep. And that's the way it should all be with this stuff. And because you know what?
I didn't think about that, Uncle Mike, but I mean, we talked about it the whole time, but you don't really think about it. Like, Wes is a morph guy, and we never thought about it that way. We agree on basically everything. And we had a great podcast, had a great conversation, and Wes is a great guy. We don't have to agree on everything in this world. You can have our own opinions on stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what I thought was really refreshing about him, because, I mean, sometimes I put my foot in my mouth, and I'm not too proud to say, to correct myself or whatever. So it's like, man, I don't know if you noticed, but he said something that threw me off my game. Like 90% of the people who talk about color morphs, it's all like, well, that's the next big thing I'm going to make. He don't care.
Yeah.
He don't care about making money. He don't care. He wants to see his project through. Definitely. And dude, I respect that, man. Not like, oh, by the time I make a strawberry cream yellow belly spot nose, I'm going to be $100,000. No, you're not. No, you're not.
He does what interests him. He doesn't care what everybody else does.
Exactly. So yeah, very cool.
And I didn't even know he was the first to do celebensis. I probably did at some point, but you can only remember so much stuff, which is
cool. that when he said that, it clinged a bell in my head because I'm a stunad, right? But I could remember when him and Robert Fox, they were like,
Nick, right?
And yeah, like when I do this, I'm not saying they were beefing, but they were both going for the same goal. Yep. And I remember Wes is kind of laid back, and Robert, he'll put his shit out there.
Yep.
But like, so, you heard that from Robert, but in actuality, Wes, this is going way back, few years, several years.
I remember it now that you're saying it.
Yeah, and then I was like, wow. Well, you know what? At any rate, they're done. It's cool. Celebensis are cool.
Yeah.
And, kudos for them two guys doing that and not beefing about it. You know what I'm saying? So
no, I respect the way Wes handles things a lot, because naturally that's me. I'm the guy that's in the back of the class. Like, I want to be detached, especially the older I get. The younger I was, I might have been more at the front of the class, but now the older I get, I don't want to be seen. But being in this hobby, I feel like I almost have to be. I force myself to. I mean, Uncle Mike, when we started this, I forced myself to come out of my shell and do this.
Yep.
With social media, I forced myself to be there, because if you don't, like, I had this conversation with Justin. I know he doesn't care. He's one of my best friends, and he's in my wedding. He didn't even have an Instagram. I'm like, dude, you got to do an Instagram. Like, people won't even know what you're doing. And some people are okay with that. But like, in this hobby, I feel like to stick with the times, you gotta do that. You gotta do social media.
And in the same breath too, Nick, you build, you're making a path for yourself, right?
Yep.
And then you become whatever, reptile fame, whatever you want to call it, internet. What is the thing that I hate?
Famous, like, influencer.
It's like, dude, what are you influencing, man? We breed lizards. You're not a brain surgeon.
There's some people that are actually influencers. Like, you turned me on to that guy, Uncle Mike. Oh my God, what's his name? The Hun, the reptile Hun. And I started watching his stuff today, and I'm like, man, he's really pushing the envelope to push the right things.
To do the right things.
Influencer. That you deserve the word influencer. Adam Wickens, you deserve the word influencer. Now there's people that are just, if you're doing things for yourself, you're not influencing anyone. Well, I guess you are, but it's just not the same.
You know what? Nick, let me. I know what you're saying, and I have it. So let me say this. I know what you're trying to say. So there are people that want to be influencers because they want the clicks and they want the 187,000 followers. And then you got guys who are influencers just trying to convince you, hey, look, if you have this bear cage with a stick going on the side and a little rock with a lamp on it and, cypress mulch, dry, it's like he's trying to teach and enlighten you. That's influence. That's influence. Not a guy who, puts a freaking tarantula on somebody's head and, and everybody's, and the people we don't want to influence are like this. Oh, I want to watch. Wait till she gets bit. It's like, that's
because they're doing the clickbait thing where they're using it to get you to look. Where that guy's giving you knowledge, and if you want to learn, you'll learn. Yeah,
and in a very creative way too. The Huns, he's good, man. He's really good. Really good. And another thing I wanted to say is, so like the whole live feeding thing, right? Like I say this story all the time. There was a guy with the live feeding, blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, you know that's not good for our hobby. Yep. And this guy told me, oh, I got 75 likes, and I don't care. It's like, dude, you are gonna care when the people who are watching the mouse squeaking down the frog's throat, those people aren't animal lovers. They're twisted people. Yeah. They're twisted people who want to see an animal suffer. Look, I love my monitor lizards. I love reptiles. But I don't want to see a hamster hurt. I don't want to see a live chicken being chased in a corral by a ball python. You know what I mean? I have empathy for all animals. Yeah. So the people that are looking for that shock and awe, live feedings, dude, you're not getting normal people watching that stuff. You're getting twisted, sick individuals who get off on suffering. You're not. We don't do this to see animals suffer. We do this to see animals grow and thrive. So you got to think of your audience too. And with that being said, Nick, I hate to keep babbling, but I get these things in my mind, and I have the utmost respect for Adam Wickens. Okay, I've been around a long time. I've seen Adam coming up, and I've watched some of his videos, and when it comes to the monitor stuff and other things, there was some things that were really, really cringe, right? Then we met him. We met him at a Tinley show and realized he's a great guy, right? He is a great guy. Really, he's got a huge following, and that guy didn't have to tuck tail. He didn't have to tuck tail, but I respect him for saying.
You never know he has a huge following. He doesn't act like he does. He doesn't walk around with his nose in the air. He's just Adam Wickens.
But he does know he holds a lot of influence, and he knows that he's had that influence for a long time. And going back, he said some things that wasn't true, and he shouldn't have said. It wasn't proper husbandry and stuff. And you know what? Here's where I have the utmost respect for him. He corrected that on camera. Yep. He didn't just say it behind the scenes to people. Oh, yeah, I know that was really bad for me to say that. He came on there and he addressed it face to face in the camera. And man,
followers who have been there the whole time to see it.
How can you not respect that? He's growing. Okay. I respect that. Adam, I love
give
you,
respect for remembering it too. Because if it was me, I probably would have forgot.
Exactly.
But Uncle Mike, along with that too, we talked about this the other day. I think it's like these people that are building this on like bite videos and building their reputation on all this stuff that isn't like good long term. Like you're building a foundation. It's like building a house, but starting with a shitty foundation. It's like, I don't know. It's just, and everybody does it differently, but like it's kind of like you've always said that stuff to me, and it's kind of like how I wanted to build myself is like off of positive things and like things that I'm really working towards. It's not like just today, oh, I had a black dragon, let's throw a drumstick at it and let's get this video out today for the day. I'm struggling to get my point across, but you know what I mean.
No, I do know what you mean.
I want to build a foundation that lasts, and that's how you build something that you're proud of, and not just something that's like, let's get a video out today.
And that's the difference between the influencers. If you're trying to influence to put these corny videos out with animals eating improper diet, somebody's going to see that and say, hey, look, I seen that guy feeding a turkey neck, or, you know, and so if he did it, I could do it. But it's not right, man. It's not right. And when you study these animals like we have, and we've tried it all, you know, we I guess what we need to do is put our 2 cents out there. Just like Wes said, oh, I used to do that. And then if somebody told me, and then he said, and you said it. And I'm like, well, did it change the way your animal's health was? He said, oh, absolutely. So there you go. It's iron sharpens iron.
And with me, I said with that, like I had animals producing at that point. I was feeding, like I wasn't not feeding quail. I wasn't not feeding eggs. I just would supplement with other things that were easy to get. Like if Nicole's say what we always say, Nicole's going to the store, my mom's going to the store, grab this. It was never drumsticks, but like grab fillets of tilapia, and I'd throw that in there. And then I like would have females that are totally fine and get to that part of their cycle, or that part where they're going to put their body through a lot more than they normally do. And I'd lose a female, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? Like, what am I doing wrong? And then we started talking more about it, Uncle Mike. And I'm not just saying this to blow smoke or anything like that. Uncle Mike, you changed my way of keeping, and I've lost like all the animals. I'm not saying all, like there's a lot, but animals that I lose now, I know why. And before I had no idea, and I still don't. I just know it was affecting them some way long term. And now I'm losing animals if I do to being egg bound or something that, or like something gets stuck. Like it's like if I take it to the vet, this is why. It's not like a fatty liver, or like things like that. You know what I mean?
I remember a test that I kind of threw your way. I didn't inform you of this or anything, but I said to you, I'm like, hey, Nick, I got a question for you. And this is after the whole prey shit. I said to you, hey, Nick, because you were going through this. So I kind of put this question in my head together, not to stump you, but to hopefully make you see, it's easy to tell somebody, but when you make them have the epiphany in their own brain, then it really settles in it, and it's settled in your brain. So I said to you, I'm like, Nick, because you were buying a lot of adult animals for breeding. I said, let me ask you something, Nick. Would you rather buy a captive adult for a breeder, or would you rather buy a wild caught adult for a breeder? Now, you would have gave me two answers at two different times of your life.
Yeah.
But at this point, you said, no, absolutely, I'll take the wild caught.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, why would you do that, Nick? And you said, because I know he's eating his natural diet and he's in his natural health. And then you said to me, yeah, I got this big female or whatever it was that you got. And you got it home, you took it out of the box, and what did it do with the...
Regurgitated a bunch of drumsticks.
Regurgitated a bunch of drumsticks. So, yes, I'm with you.
Solid, like a dozen solid bones.
That's terrible, man. So, yeah.
I don't think anything of that, but I mean, if she didn't regurgitate that, she probably... I don't have her anymore because that was the deciding factor for me. But if she didn't regurgitate those have obviously been stuck in there for a while, or somebody crammed 12 drumsticks down there at once, which is highly doubtable. But it becomes a mess. And like with a wild caught animal, you know the poison that you're dealing with. You know you got either ticks, mites, or parasites, and that's really it. And probably a shit dude. But those are all manageable.
It's all manageable.
You can see all of those things for the most, besides parasites, but you'll figure that out pretty quick. With that other problem of being in the wrong care, you're not going to know until it's too late.
Till it's too late, or you find out, these animals with these big, huge fat stores that up and die, right?
Yep.
Then you find out, the lay person, and I don't mean nothing by that, but the lay person would say, Yeah, he died of fatty liver disease or fat stores. It's like, that's true, but that giant fat store that they never reduce and build up like they do in the wild during times of plenty. Okay, they put on those fat stores to get them through times of drought and when there's no food available. But when they keep them fat stores huge all the time, and you got these football shaped and round animals, they got these big fat stores. Then they get a fatty liver disease. Then what happens? Then their kidneys shut down.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. And I don't want it to seem like we're discrediting captive bred animals. Obviously, we
Not
want
at all.
We're breeders, but just know where you're getting them from.
Right.
And if you're really looking to do a long-term project with something, get babies.
Yep.
I learned that so many times the hard way. And,
yep. Well, you know,
I pick up a lot of other people's mistakes.
So like what you're saying is, yeah, we always suggest captive born young animals, hatchlings, you know, is the best because you're feeding it. Your husbandry is affecting that animal. If you buy an adult animal and, you know, you don't necessarily know if somebody's been feeding a bad diet or they have low basking temperatures or just simply not enough room for this animal to get the proper exercise, clean water daily. You know what I mean? There's so much to it. But yeah, so Nick, I don't know. Oh, we just hit 2 hours.
Yeah, we just hit it on the dot.
Nice. I see you kind of falling asleep there, Nick. I know you work hard, man. You how many miles did you put on today?
Oof, I don't even know. I drove total like 8 hours, something like that.
That's a lot of miles, bro.
I think I worked like 11 hours today, but I got up super early. So
I there's a couple of things I wanna put out that we had talked about earlier, Nick. So I gotta give due respect where it's deserved. Some news. Ty Park is trying to get, and we've talked about this quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know, and of course we know we have the North American Breeders Conference, I think it's called, Wayne Hills in Orlando. But Ty Park is looking to do another major show in Florida. So everybody keep their eye out for Ty Park's new show, Reptile Swap, that he's going to have somewhere in the Florida area. He's working that all out now. But, you know, call it what it is. I really hope that he's super successful with this. And there's not a lot that guy does that isn't successful. So I'm sure it'll be big and, you know, great for the hobby.
Yep. And Uncle Mike, I don't want to butcher it. So I'm going to be very I'm going to skim over it real quick of what it's going to be. But Uncle Mike is getting his PhD. He's a professor now. He's a professor doing these interviews. You talk more about it, Uncle Mike. I don't want to butcher it.
Well, so I guess my proper title would be Professor of Knuckleheadery. No, it's
that's the name of the course.
yeah. No. So what it is, it's Brax Warren. He's a young techie guy out in California. He's a reptile head too, but this guy's got an ingenious idea. So he's trying to put, and he is not trying. It's called Citadel Calubra, an online reptile university. So what he has done is he's gathered all of the OGs, all of the old dogs. He's got Kevin McCurley, he's got Ty Park, he's got Tom Crutchfield, the OG, you know, doing courses. They asked me to do a course. I'm honored to do it. And I'm actually in the middle of that right now. So everybody who's interested, it's very, very reasonably priced. But if you enroll into this university, this online university, you get, for whatever, I don't know that, I'm not going to say prices because I'm not that deep into it yet, but it's very affordable. So you'll get like access to these online courses that, you know, people who've been around a while and have like real hands-on experience with, you know, whether it's opening up a zoo like Ty Park has done, or just, you know, whatever, 70 years of, reptile experience, from going to these places to breeding animals to milking venom from snakes of Tom Crutchfield, George Van Horn, another guy, Steve Angeli, with his, these guys are the venomous stuff, what an ingenious idea. We ain't getting younger, right? And I guess the way this Brax thought of it is like, when these OGs go, all their knowledge is going to go with them, other than, these little podcasts and stuff that we do. But I'm very, very honored and to be part of this, to give out my knowledge or whatever it is, with keeping and breeding monitor lizards, emerald tree boas, just a life of keeping these animals. Tom's OG, Ty's OG, George Van Horn's OG, Steve Angeli, he's OG. Kevin McCurley, he's an OG. And I never thought of myself as an OG until this guy contacted me. He goes, "Oh yeah, no, we got to have all the OGs." I'm like, "Okay, cool, yeah, count me in."
I think an OG is Uncle Mike. You always be the OG, the monitor OG.
I don't know, but thank you, but I'm just a guy like you who's passionate about animals, and I just happen to be doing it for a long time. And there's others, but I was reached out to, so I'm gonna do it, and
I look forward to it. It's a really, really cool idea, and I just can't wait to see it all put out there, because it needs to be put out there like that. Because you have Crutchfield's posts, you have your posts, you have Ty's posts, and it's kind of all scattered all over the internet. But it's a good way to here it is, and nobody's done that. I can't believe it hasn't been done, and I'm so interested to see how this goes.
Right. Well, I'll be honest with you.
Kind of like in your bachelor's degree in reptile keeping.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. With the way the world goes, if you don't have an alphabet hooked to your name, what are you gonna? I don't have an alphabet hooked to my name, but obviously I have years and years of hands-on experience with these animals, and that's worth something. So it's really great to be recognized for that. Like Tom too. There's another guy. This guy has got so much knowledge and wisdom that, so he don't have a PhD or he don't have the alphabets, but that guy knows more than a lot of the PhDs. You know what I mean? Because I've always said this,
because the book guys are looking at books. Like, you guys are hands-on. It's like, we've said this before, Uncle Mike. It's like, I work on cars every day. I've worked on cars every day for the last 30. I'm only referring to myself because that's all I know. Since I was 13, I've been hands-on with cars. I never went to school with cars. I don't know what this Type A wrench is going to do, but I could take that motor out, I'm sure. And right. You guys, you could breed and do all that stuff, but those guys can think about it and write books about it. But you guys do it. You guys have been doing it for 60, 70 years. So in my opinion, it's the guys that are in the field that know the most. It's always been my opinion on life. It's the guys that are doing it that know it. And that's nothing away from the guys that write the books. We need both.
Absolutely.
But you guys deserve some kind of degree as well.
Yeah, and we've talked about this, Nick. And I've always said, you even said to me, "Hey, you should write a book." And I have the, I have the knowledge and the wisdom to put what I do down, but I'm not a writer. I don't know paragraphs or whatever it is, what is it? Publishers and editors. I don't know none of that stuff. I mean, can you imagine if there was no editor or publisher and I wrote a book? I think I might wind up in jail. You can't swear. You got to be politically correct. You know what I mean? So for this guy to approach and say, "No, man," he goes, and what's really good about this is I'm like, dude, I swear a lot. I got this rough voice. He goes, no. We're going to have a conversation on the phone. And then he records that conversation and he puts it into something I don't know, an app or whatever. And it turns it into an ebook. And I'm like, wow, that's actually ingenious. So I might actually sound a lot smarter than I actually am when this course thing comes out.
I think you discredit yourself, Uncle Mike.
Dude, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Look forward to it. It's going to be really cool. Especially using the technology of today like that to be able to record it. And I mean, probably in seconds, it'll give him the verbiage.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. And put it all in like, you know, how they want it all paragraphed and chapters. And like I did a peer review article on when I bred the peach throats, right? But I literally had Mark Bayless, you know, who's like a university kind of guy. He's dead now, God rest his soul. But you know, he helped me all the way with the I don't know what they call it, like the referencing. You reference back to 1820 with whoever, you know. So he laid it out and it looked really professional and it's out there now. So I was really grateful for that. And then here it is, 20, 30 years later, I have another opportunity to do something like this. So I'm going to run with it. And thanks, Nick, for bringing it up, man. I appreciate that.
Of course. Anything you're doing, Uncle Mike, we always got to talk about, especially something as important for the hobby as that.
Yeah, I think it will be important.
Yep. But with that, I say we wrap it up. We went 2 hours and 10 minutes. So with a great conversation with Wes, and we always have a good conversation, Uncle Mike. So
absolutely. Yeah, I'll tell you, man, I'm really impressed. I've had conversations with Wes before, and it was probably more of me preaching to him, I would imagine. But that was a refreshing, beautiful conversation. Such a knowledgeable guy.
Yep, for sure. So thank you again, Uncle Mike, as always. And peace out, guys.
Okay, wait. One more quick thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to our sponsors. Sim Container.
Yeah. We got Klein's Feeders.
Klein Feeders. We got kingsnake.com.
And Reptiles to You.
And Show Me Snakes shows that are all around the upper Midwest here.
Yep. You guys are the best. Thank you very much for supporting us. And I mean, basically all of those guys, anytime I share something or do something on social media, they're always pushing it. So thank you.
Yep. And thank you, Nick, for being like a great partner, man. You're just a great kid, man. I can't say enough good things about you.
Thank you, Uncle Mike. You're the best. It's amazing that you still say that stuff about me because you're the OG to me. I still feel like I talked to you for the first time.
Well, you know, and another thing I wanted to say, man, we're 23. Did I get it right this time?
I think so. Now you got me messed up.
Okay. We're 23 episodes in, and I know how it was when we started talking about this, and you were like, you know, I don't know, you know, I'm like, dude, you've broken out of your shell. You're very good at this, and you're quite knowledgeable yourself. So thanks again for all the editing and stuff that you do, along with just being my friend.
Thank you, Uncle Mike. Yeah, thank you for always keeping me on track, even when I call you with these crazy freaking out about spinny eggs or whatever, smacking me in the back of the head and be like, stay the course.
I love it, man.
I need it.
I love it. So until next time, Mike Stefani, Mike's Monitors, but with an unlimited shirt on.
Nicky Nick of Unlimited Exotics. Thanks, guys.
We'll see you guys next time. Thank you, Brainiacs.
Yep.